freezing rain hasn't stopped. It's so loud.
Hey, thanks for being here. Those of you guys familiar with our channel have probably seen this tent before. This is the Pomoly Stovehut 2.0, I believe. Those of you familiar with camping gear, winter camping gear, you might have seen that before on other YouTube videos. First off, just want to say right off the bat, this is not a review. However, this was not provided to me free. I purchased this myself. The reason why I have it up here is because I wanted to test it out under some potentially nasty weather conditions. So there was some controversy associated with this tent, especially its initial design. We'll touch a bit more on that a little bit later. Full disclosure, I am camping in my backyard. Usually I'm out in the middle of the wilderness, and I know people prefer that, but there's a reason why I wanted to try it out here, specifically in these conditions. It's supposed to turn to snow, rain, freezing rain, and I'm also going to be trying a wool blanket instead of a sleeping bag, so I also wanted to make sure that I was safe from any trees that might fall if there's a large buildup of ice. I'm in a pretty safe area. Any tall trees here are quite small. So, hope you guys enjoy this video. It's not a review, but you guys are going to see what I experienced spending the night through here. And I know it's odd, but hopefully the weather turns nasty. So as you guys can see, it's the weather's changed. It's hail coming down right now. These are ice pellets hitting me right now. So we got the stove jack in, and next is going to be getting all my firewood and all my gear ready for today. So as you guys can see, there's a fair amount of room in there. We'll bring the camera a little bit closer, but the stove is in its own little section there, which is great, keeps it separate. So I've had this tent for a while, but I have yet to use it with a stove. This will be the first night. So I'm doing my utmost to try to keep snow from getting inside, because a little bit of water is not a big deal, but I wanted to test the tent to see how it does with the current weather conditions. So right now, just trying to make sure I'm bringing it in as clean as I can make it. Pretty good amount of room for one person. That's pretty awesome. There is room for two to sleep in here. But to hang out, I mean, you could do two people, especially in a storm. You'd be more than happy to get into a warm shelter. But let's see how it does. I hope that's a good camera angle. So, obviously, I'm right on the snow. That's by design. I could have shoveled it a bit, but there was only around maybe an inch or two of snow on the ground, and I wanted to test it out how it did in terms of letting water in, because sometimes when you're out winter camping, you're not going to shovel all the way down to the ground. You could be camping over 4 feet of snow, so this will be a good way to see if we get any seepage through the ground. My expectation is not to have zero water at all in here. Hold on, let me turn down this light. So yeah, so my expectation is not to have zero water in here. It's fine to have a little bit, but definitely don't want it flooding in. So first we're going to start out our fire. There we go, my first fire in the Pomoly Stovehut 2.0. I'm going to keep this fire going, and later on we'll have a bit of a talk about it. Well, in terms of hot tent, it's definitely warm. Stove's only been going for around 10 minutes, and I can already feel it's like a good 20 degrees Celsius warmer. So I'll try to get a thermometer. I think it's around -2 outside right now, and so I'll go get a thermometer so we can get some readings. But in terms of being nice and comfortable, this is pretty sweet. I'm going to use a wood stove. I highly recommend getting a good pair of welding gloves. It'll save you. Sorry, that's the one thing about winter camping. A lot of temperature changes. Ooh, like the wind's picking up a bit. Good. I mentioned in the beginning of the video that there was some controversy associated with this tent. I have done an overview on one of their other tents before, which was a teepee style tent, which I absolutely loved. However, when browsing through their website, I saw this tent and it just looked like a really neat concept. However, I checked a few reviews, including, if you guys get a chance, check them out. The Outdoor Gear Review, they have a YouTube channel where they do fantastic impartial reviews. And they took the company a bit to task with some of the some leaking issues they had with this tent, which is a significant deal when it comes to a shelter that's supposed to keep you warm in winter conditions. So a little bit of back and forth there. Eventually, the manufacturer added a lot of improvements to the tent, and at that time, luckily for me, the timing was right where I was able to order one. Now, like I said, if you get a chance, check out the Outdoor Gear Review. There's also another channel called Adventures with Spackman, I believe it's called. So if you guys want to get some more information regarding the earlier issues. But like I said, after some pushback and a little bit of back and forth, eventually the issues seem to have been resolved based on follow-up videos by those YouTubers as well. So I felt really comfortable ordering this tent. And I was really looking forward to trying it out. I've used it a few times over the summer. However, I've been waiting for these kind of conditions to kind of give it the proper test. Whereas we're getting hail right now, it's supposed to turn to freezing rain and then eventually to rain. So, and a significant amount over a long period of time. Now, some might mention having a wood stove there will definitely help keep things a little bit drier, so it might kind of negate those potential water leaking issues. To that I can say, I work a regular job, and tomorrow morning I'll be getting up to go into work, and it's supposed to rain for the remainder of the day. So I will be keeping the cameras rolling every once in a while, and we'll be checking it out with absolutely no fire in here. So we'll see how good the improvements are and what you guys can expect from this shelter. Well, things are super warm in here. I'm down to a t-shirt, got the baseball cap, the toque's been put away, or beanie as some call it. I've got my air mattress here, and the wood stove is working out just fantastic. I got the drafts all closed outside and in, and it's still hailing. I mean, it's been going on for hours. It's not snow. I am guessing it's probably going to shift. It's supposed to turn into freezing rain in about an hour or two. So we'll see how that goes. So I think I mentioned at the beginning of the video that not only am I trying a different tent in a different setting, I'm also trying a different sleep setup. This is what I have here. This is a wool blanket, traditional wool blanket. So I'm looking forward to using this and trying it out. I've been wanting one of these for a long time. That really slow burn is keeping me really nice and warm in here. working out great so far. That's a heavy freezing rain. Now the freezing rain hasn't stopped. It's so loud. Along with trying a new tent, I'm also sleeping using a wool blanket for the first time. I'm okay, but I have a feeling when that stove dies out, I might start getting a chill. I can feel a little bit colder than I would in my sleeping bag. But maybe that'll mean that once the fire dies down, I'll wake up from the cold automatically and be able to keep the fire fed. I think I should have enough firewood for the rest of the night. I hope. Neat experience though. That rain is loud. It's around 6:45 in the morning, and slept really well. It's worked out pretty good so far. So I gotta get ready to go to work, but the video is not done because I still want to test out the tent after being out in the rain for several hours. We'll provide updates as we go, and should be back in a few hours. There's a fine rain falling now, so it's been raining for a bit. We're gonna see what it looks like after a few hours. Well, it's not raining hard, it's a steady fine rain which really coats, so it should give it a good test. Okay, so to wrap it up, the tent did really well considering the conditions it was in. I mean, I stayed really comfortable with the stove overnight, and then I left, of course, as I said, to go to work, and so I left the tent out in the rain for many hours, actually over 12 hours, and it rained the whole time, sometimes quite hard, and we never got any kind of leaks from the sides at all, which was tremendous. It wasn't all perfect though. There were some issues. Sorry for the awkward pause. I feel I should interject here. In the next section I talk about how I had some water appearing in the tent based on areas where a heavy item would sink into the floor of the tent and water would pool up. I assume that it happened with the water would seep in through the bottom. However, because I didn't see it happen or film it, I want to make sure that the next information is correct. So while I am going to be stating what I believe happened, I'm going to test it again at a later date just to make sure that it's not actually water seeping in through the sides and just pooling where there's some deep spots. in spots where there was an item inside the tent that was putting specific pressure on one spot, such as my tripod, water would pool up, and so that was a bit of an issue. Where I would have my sleeping mat and spread out nice and flat, nothing came through, but when there were pressured areas, water would pool up and would show up inside the tent. Now, major thing is I did not clear out the snow before setting up the tent. So having done so would have definitely corrected most of those issues, because any water would have gone right into the ground, and there's less likely that you would have sagging points because you wouldn't be sinking into the soft snow. However, as I mentioned at the beginning of my video, many times I like to set up directly on the snow by tamping the snow down and setting up my tent. So a lot of people have asked me many times in a lot of our shelters, why don't you use a floor? And that's actually a piece that I had never really thought about. For me, it was basically I usually have a wood stove inside. I don't want a tripping hazard. It's also adding more weight to my gear, and it can get dirty and filthy and all that. So that for multiple reasons, I prefer not having a floor inside my tent. This one is incorporated in, so there's no way around it. However, when using this one in the future, in winter situations, I'll definitely be digging right down to the ground. So if you take that into consideration, all in all, it did a pretty good job. That's going to wrap up this video for this overnight test with this tent. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun, and I was pretty happy with how it performed under some pretty difficult conditions. I am planning on having one more video specifically about the tent, because like I said before, I've used it in different situations before. There's one more situation that I want to try this one out, and that is under super cold conditions. Once I've done that, I will give my final thoughts regarding this tent. I am very happy, but there are some issues that I definitely want to go over with you guys. So I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope to see you all again soon. Take care.